Gosh, I'm thirsty. Okay, gosh, really? Am I from the 1950s? Okay, so last night I was hanging out with the family, and we ate at some sushi place. And on the way home, this video is from my nephew, by the way. Okay, so on the way home, we were talking about how people have ideas, and I said that Nietzsche said people don't have ideas; ideas have people. All right. So let me further delve into that because my nephew would probably be interested in it. All right, so to expand on that, okay, so when we're born out of the womb, right? First of all, before you're even born out of the womb, science has discovered that we even hear the tones of our parents, we even hear tonalities, and we pick up on whether our parents are fighting. We even pick up on whether our parents loved us or not when we're in the womb, or love us, or even if they're happy that they're having us. And scientists have explained that if we don't hear loving tones like, oh my god, I'm so happy that I'm having this baby, oh my god, I love this baby, you know, if we don't hear that while we're in the womb, we already feel unloved, right? And then when we're in the baby state, so let's say when we come out of the womb, right, we have no ideas, no concepts of the world yet. However, we do pick up those messages when we're in the womb, whether we feel loved or not. Whether you believe that or not is up to you. I believe it, man. I think I believe it. You know, whether you feel loved or not before you're even out of the womb, before you're even born on Earth, right? So whether you believe that or not, that's up to you. And whether you feel loved when you come out of the womb, that's another thing. They've done studies on babies that don't get the love and don't get the eye contact and the attention and the love when they're born. Okay, so that's another issue right there, man. Okay, so to get back to this, let me get Indian style here. So those are two conditions right there. You know, whether you feel loved right away, right? Both in the womb and when you come out of the womb in the first year or two. So, but let's get back to the ideas thing, right? But that's also going to impact the way you feel about the world. You know, God, there's so many things. Anyway, but to get back to the ideas thing, right? So you're born out of the womb, and you have absolutely no ideas whatsoever, right? And pretty much all the ideas that you have, you pick up from your conditioning, the things around you, what you're told, your cultural historical conditioning, what people in your culture, what they value, what they think, how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to feel, how you're supposed to behave, what you're supposed to be like, your emotions, like what kind of emotions you're supposed to have. You're supposed to be happy, you're supposed to be pretty, you're not supposed to be sad. I got all that stuff, right? So you develop these ideas and concepts of who you should be in your society, who you should be as a person, right? And then, you know, you go into reading, you go into what you see on TV or what you watch on, you know, Netflix or what you watch on YouTube, and what you decide what you want your interests to be. Whether they're guided by your society and your family, or whether it's your personality type and what you value as a being, right? So you have all these ideas, but the ideas are developed from your culture, your surroundings, what family you come from, what your family values, what your culture values, and what you read, what you view, what images you see, the things you see in your environment. Do you come from a harsh environment? Do you come from a soft environment like where I'm from? I'm from Sebastian. This is a very soft environment. There's no crime. There's pretty much no drugs. Bad things don't really happen here. Everybody lives in comfort. It's warm weather. There's really no cold weather. There's no storms. It's pretty much like La La Land here, right? So, so there's no challenges really, you know. You got to create challenges for yourself. I think that's why, you know, people in this country were so bored that we create challenges for ourselves, right? Like we think and we think and we think and we worry and worry and we worry and we stress. We probably buy things we don't need just so we can entertain ourselves because we're so freaking bored because there's no challenges. We live in such comfort, you know, us white people. Sorry, you know, all you colored people, but like white people, like we have it so freaking easy. And if we're mentally ill or if we're poor, our government assists us and gives us financial aid, right? So even there, white people are saved. White people, we got it so easy, bro. So anyways, we do. It's so sad, man. This one time, okay, just sidetrack this story, right? So one time I'm living in the Middle East, and these Indian Bangladeshian workers were coming off from work, and they're covered with dust, and they're covered with like cement and all this other stuff, and they were like wearing rags, and they live on top of rooftops in 118-degree weather. They sleep like, okay, I lived on the 13th floor. No, not the 13th floor, like the 15th floor. There was a building below me that was like 6 or 7 stories high. Okay, the Bangladeshian and the Indian guys that did the construction in the city, they lived on top of the roof with mattresses. They slept up there and they lived up there in the daytime. And it was really cold at night because it was the desert. It was like 45 degrees at night. And it was like 118 degrees in the daytime. And these guys lived on top of the roof on mattresses. And there were sandstorms. So anyways. So these guys had really harsh lives. And they got paid absolutely nothing. And here I am. I'm walking back from work. I was like a history teacher and an English teacher. And I'm like walking back to work and I got like a tie on, a white shirt, tan khaki pants. And I'm like 5'11". These guys are like 5'5", struggling to live. I'm like this pretty white boy, right? No problems. And these Bangladeshian guys, like, they're coming back from work and they're all passing by me in rags, just covered with dirt and cement. And first guy walks by me and I look at him, he doesn't make eye contact with me. Second guy walks past me, I look at him, I make eye contact, he doesn't look at me. Third guy, he walks by me and I'm making eye contact with him. And he looks at me and he gives me this look like you lucky bastard. Like you're this pretty white boy, 5'11", no problems, probably came from a nice family, nice college degree, you got a really nice job, you're wearing a tie, you got like this like Indiana Jones leather satchel. And that's the last time I ever wore a tie or a teaching shirt to work or back from work whenever I walked to work. After that day, I took my shirt off, tie off, put it in my satchel, and I just went to work in a white t-shirt. Because I never want to after that day, I never wanted to throw my money in anybody else's face. But anyways, so going back to what I was talking about. So pretty much all the ideas we have are from our society, from what we read, from what we view, from the images we see, what we pick up on. Okay, so when we're born, we have absolutely no ideas, right? And then we get all these ideas from what we study, what we see, and what our culture tells us how to behave and what to be, right? Whether it's family influence or cultural influence or historical influence. The way we act and the way we think is a lot different than the tribal members in Amazon rainforest areas where they, have to hunt for their food. They go to war with other tribes in the area. They, I'm talking about the people that like make those wooden things that go and like kill other tribe members in different tribes. Those type of people, right? That have like the war face paint of blue. Like they have different ideas than we do because they're from a different area of the world, okay? So, historical culture. Now, if you take all that, Nietzsche, people don't have ideas, ideas have people. All the ideas you have, you learn from something, right? Now, I don't know if anybody's really talked about this yet, but I'll talk about it because I spend a lot of time in solitude because I kind of have like avoidant personality disorder. I don't really need to be around people. So I spend a lot of time by myself in solitude, in silence, right? I'm also very creative, so I do a lot of painting, and I play the guitar whenever I can, and I sing a lot, and I walk a lot in nature. So I spend a lot of time in the flow state, right? Because I'm creative, and I spend a lot of time in stillness, so I don't really have thought. I'm just always in the present moment, which allows me to be connected to something. I'm not going to call it God. I'm not going to call it creation. I'm just going to call it something. Because nobody really knows for sure what we're connected to. Right? So when I'm in that flow state or in that present moment and I'm in stillness, right? A lot of the times I'm no longer me. I'm dissolved. I'm no longer Dylan Joe Northrop. I'm no longer a person, right? So in that present moment where I'm present and I live in the stillness, I get ideas. And those ideas were most likely not created by other humans. They might have been. But a lot of the times they're like aha moments or epiphanies. I wrote my first book a lot in that state. When I'm creating and I'm painting and I'm in that flow state, I start to create things on canvas or on paper that most people can't create, right? Where do those ideas come from? While I'm in the flow state, they come from something, right? The creator or God or existence. I don't like to use the word God, and who even knows if it is God, but it's something, right? It's not me, because when I am in that state, in the flow state, or if I'm in the present moment, or if I'm in stillness, I'm no longer me. I'm no longer a person. I'm completely dissolved. So in that state, I'm not even the one with those ideas. Those ideas are coming from something else. Those ideas aren't coming from me. And if I decide to take credit for those ideas and be like, oh yeah, I was the one that came up with those ideas. I'm the one that painted that painting. I'm the one that wrote that. I'd pretty much be lying to myself because those ideas didn't come from me because I was dissolved. I wasn't even a person. Those ideas came from something else. Whether it was creation, God, existence, the stillness, being in the present moment, being in the flow state, or the zone, those ideas weren't mine because I was no longer a person. I was dissolved. So even in that state, when you are no longer a person that has the culture and the cultural, historical ideas, or the ideas that you've read, or the things that you've seen, the family's ideas of who you should be, how you should behave, once you are no longer that person that has the ideas from your culture, your family, or what you've seen and read, or heard, and you're no longer a person, you're no longer that person that has that conditioning or that cultural conditioning, and you're in that flow state or that stillness or that existence, you're no longer a person. You're the stillness. You're dissolved. So the person's not there anymore. So you're no longer a person. So you cannot say that you had those ideas because you're no longer you. You're no longer a person. So those ideas are not yours. They're something else's. They're creations. They're God's. They're existence. They're someone's ideas. They're not yours because you're no longer here. When you reach that flow state or that stillness and present moment, you just drift and you look around and you're not you anymore. You're gone. You've checked out. So whoever's giving you those ideas, they're not your ideas. So you can't say they're your ideas, which leads back to Nietzsche's people don't have ideas, ideas have people. So no matter how you try to get around it, you cannot say that you have any of your own ideas because they either come from cultural conditioning or they come from existence, creation, and the stillness and the flow state. So you're screwed, man. So you can no longer have an ego because everything you create and everything you think is not yours. It's somebody else's, whether it's from creation or conditioning. Done, baby. And that's for my nephew, Cedar. Damn, sucker. Alright. Hope you're having fun today. Did this with Frozen and my workout girls. Rock on. Have fun, man. Peace.